Last time on Willy's Degenerate review, somebody pointed out to me that I'm a Red Letter Media / ER ripoff, or at least a semi-decent quality bootleg. And that got me to thinking, why only rip off the Blanket voice? Why not rip off the whole format? Screw it, it's half in the bag now.
Half in the bag. I use booze in my enema bucket.
Ooh, Dishonored is so good! Competent combat, great verticality and movement, atmosphere, good art direction. You know what? I'm gonna talk about this. Caricature will always defeat attempts at realism when it comes to art direction. Strong design adds longevity to games in ways that attempts at realism just can't. It's why games like Super Mario Galaxy just seem to last longer. I never think to myself, wow, look at how bad the texture meshing is on these characters, or yuck, what a gross poly count, when it comes to these kind of games, because the combination of bright colors, striking lines and curves, and fluidity of movement says so much more than some dirt-filled pore on someone's skin ever could. Dishonored's art direction is excellent! This oil painting world makes incredible use of negative space, horizons, color, caricature. I mean, sometimes I wish they toned down the gray a little bit, but I'll let it slide because screw you! Oh, and I'm not just gonna stop at the art. Your decisions matter. And the way you make those decisions is incredibly executed as well.
It's like magic!
While I do appreciate the vast branching dialogue choices available in games like Fallout,
New Vegas.
the truth is, I'd prefer my actions be what determines the story. So, when they put me in the shoes of Corvo Otano, a semi-silent protagonist whose actions mattered to the story, I felt dang old magnificent. I mean, sure, I was kind of annoyed that there were UI elements everywhere that told you how to complete those actions. Oh, by the way, sorry, I'm a little sick. Quick interjection here. The UI is completely necessary to finish multiple parts of the game. So before you say, oh, you could just turn it off, that's not completely true. Take the Captain Kerno rescue mission, for example. If you have the UI off, you have no idea which dumpster to put them in. There's no way to know that if it's your first playthrough. It's kind of stupid, but it is absolutely necessary. So there's that. But the fact remained that the story changed not because of what I said, but because of what I did. And the story was somewhat set in stone. For instance, you couldn't go rogue and just slaughter your allies at the Hound's Pit pub. Not that you'd ever want to do that, or that you'd ever have any reason to do that. But at least the story told was pretty decent. Especially the voice work by Billy Lush as the outsider. He really pulled off this godlike being. Methodical, calm, sure. It was so cool! So why did they ruin him, Goyam? Tell me. I really looked forward to Dishonored 2, especially when I heard the real outsider introduce this new branch of the world in a voice that commanded
Ancient wisdom!
yet still sounded youthful and eternal.
That's pretty cute, actually. I kind of want to snuggle him.
Fast forward to the release date of Dishonored 2, and
he's voice acted by the Penguin now.
What? I want to make something clear very quickly. I really like Dishonored 2. They added to the combat and the movement. They didn't sacrifice too much of the art direction when they added more detail to the characters, and your actions still seem to have some weight. I love that. I'm gonna try not to spoil the game, but there's a tiny bit of time travel involved, and the decisions you make can drastically change your relationships to multiple characters. Furthermore, both games go over your decisions in an end credits recap, and I can appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is that in the second game, the end recap is narrated by the Penguin! This new voice is so far from smooth and deity-like. It seems like he was soft rebooted into some sort of trickster child Loki ripoff. Instead of an unpredictable force whose investment in the world of Dishonored was minimal at best, he seems like an internet troll.
Who is this 4chan?
His changes are even visible in his animation. Look at the way he sits, his posture, his movement. Everything about him just screams child, not some ancient creature that knows and follows. And
probably looks at you when you take a bath. Not that I mind.
And apparently, this outsider actually needs your help. Somebody broke the afterlife rules, and he feels threatened by it. We also learned some awful backstory to him that weakens him and makes him less interesting and ominous. I gotta redo that take. And the devs know his voice is a bad choice. They have 50 different distortion effects masking it.
They call her Granny Rags. You wouldn't recognize her real name, or even the name of her family, but an emperor begged for her hand once.
Empress Emily Caldwin. I'm a friend of your father's from the bad old days.
Now who would do such a mean thing? More importantly, why would they choose to do this? Alright, look. The voice has very little to do with my actual concern. My concern instead has to do with Bethesda's typical tomfoolery and stupidity.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies, tell me lies. Oh no, no, you can't disguise.
That mountain is not just a backdrop. You can walk all the way to the top of that mountain.
Hey! You stole that from Crocat! You jerkwad!
Hey. Yeah, another intermission. I don't just put these here because I want a place to put an ad in the video, I promise. I like spending time with you. And I don't know, it's just, I don't get a break at all. Ever. But when I'm with you, I just feel better. Did you know that Billy Lush was completely stabbed in the back over Dishonored 2? That's right. Nobody contacted him. At all. Which is sad because he apparently really wanted the part. I saw some people compare this with Kojima giving the boot to David Hayter, but the truth is, Hayter was an awful voice actor for Snake. Yeah, that's right. Fight me, cuckboy. Let me be a little more charitable. There's room to disagree about Hayter's performance. Remember, Kojima didn't really like Hayter's voice. To Kojima, Snake's true voice actor was his friend,
Otsuka Akio.
and by extension, his father.
Otsuka Chiko.
I pronounced neither of those right.
What a microaggression!
Microaggressions are not real.
Yet, in Dishonored, there's absolutely nothing to imply that's the case. They just put Billy's neck on the proverbial chopping block without any apparent rhyme or reason.
Or maybe there is a reason.
I'm going to place him in an easily escapable situation involving an overly elaborate and exotic death.
That's right. They plan to kill him. You may have heard it already, but there's going to be a Billy campaign where you try to kill the outsider. They argue that it has something to do with him being the reason behind all this chaos, but that just doesn't work out. Oh yes, giving morally upright people the ability to save their nations. Wow, what an agent of chaos. I suppose you could argue that the outsider also thought Corvo might go evil, but the truth is, more often than not, players will choose the moral action across every spectrum. Maybe they thought players wouldn't want to kill such a cool character. Or maybe Billy Lush's, luscious voice acting was so thoroughly intimidating that players simply felt as if killing the outsider was an impossible task. I have to honestly wonder if the whole point of this debacle was destroying the outsider in the minds of the player so that they'd more willingly want to kill him. I mean, do they want to kill off the entire Dishonored series as well? Why? I don't even know how to end this video, just why?
Also, SJW's bullied Billy into deleting his Reddit account.
Are you ready for this?